And that's all we can play because it's copyright. So, what's going on, everybody? So now we're back in a lockdown. If you live in England, you'll be locked down for the month of November, unfortunately for most people. So I thought, what shall I do during this lockdown? I can record a couple of videos. Now, obviously, as you know, cinemas are still going to be closed during these times. So I can't really do any film reviews, but I thought might as well review some films that I'm quite fond of, those being superhero films. So I've got 21 different film reviews planned for different superhero films. Not all of them Marvel, not all of them DC. That's the only two options really. Either Marvel or DC, I've got a couple in mind, and I'm going to review a bunch of them. And as you hopefully heard by the music, I'm starting with Iron Man. Now, let me just get up the score reviews on Iron Man. Also, any Marvel film like Iron Man or that sort of the MCU stuff will be on Disney Plus. So I will say which service most of these are on if you don't already know. But any MCU stuff will be on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus, you can watch any of these films and relive them during this month. So Iron Man has a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes and 79% on Metacritic. Now, it came out in 2008, obviously. It's an action sci-fi film, about 2 hours long. Now, this is the whole movie that kicked off the MCU. It's a fantastic film, and I'm going to go through it with you. Also, it starts off with Tony Stark being driven in Afghanistan through a military base, and suddenly, huge explosion happens. And like everything's going on. Then it cuts to a flashback of him 36 hours later, just being a playboy, spending some money, drinking, having a fun time. All the usual Tony Stark jazz. It cuts back to that. He's eventually woken up in this Afghan like cave sort of area by a man named Yinsen, and he's got a arc reactor. Also, I don't know if you can see this shirt. It's got an arc reactor just there, connected to a car battery to keep him alive from all the shrapnel that happened after the explosion and everything like that. So this keeps him alive, and then these terrorists ask him to build a Jericho missile because that's the missile that he demonstrated, and it's like one that explodes and has more mini missiles inside, and it like destroys everything. So at first he refuses, then he gets waterboarded for a bit, and then he eventually agrees to do it, but said he thinks he gets all the equipment he needs, and he builds a new arc reactor chest piece that goes in his chest that will keep him alive a lot longer. But he doesn't want to use it to keep him alive a lot longer so he can build a missile. He uses it so he can build a suit. He builds a suit of armor, an Iron Man sort of suit. He builds this suit, and eventually, just before the download happens, Yinsen's like sorting it out for him, helping out. Yinsen goes out, tries to run and shoot the terrorist down takes a gun and tries to shoot him down to buy Tony more time. Eventually he gets the time and he gets this suit out. He attacks everybody, he destroys them, and then he finds Yinsen, and then Yinsen does die. Unfortunately, the guy helped him out, and he says, "Don't let this be a legacy," or "Don't die this way." I can't remember. I literally just watched it yesterday and I can't remember. But something to that effect. He gets out the cave, flamethrowers all his weapons that they had stolen from him, flames it all, destroys it all, just one big like jet boost out, crash lands in the sand, and eventually gets found by Colonel Rhodes, his friend Rhodey, and then he gets back, he puts a press conference on that, he says he wants to stop all missiles or like weapons tech of his company. And obviously that's like the main plot and like media coverage, but while he's doing that, he's making an Iron Man, so he's making a brand new suit. He made a new reactor to go in his chest piece, and he's building this new suit to go on. Eventually, I'm not going to make this go on too long, he gets to build the suit, and he finds out that his friend Obadiah Staines he was trying to manipulate, and he hired a hit on Tony, and he's trying to manipulate the company. So eventually he gets Pepper Potts to take a ghost drive, take the files, take the data, and she eventually meets up with Agent Smith once she has the files, because they had a meeting and she explains to him what's going on and everything like that. As what's going on, Tony builds this suit. He builds the Iron Man suit. It's ready. And then he has to go and try and fight Obadiah because Obadiah stole his chest plate earlier, so he has to use his old chest plate, which doesn't work as well in the Iron Man suit. He fights him. He's winning at first. He outsmarts him, and then eventually he gets Pepper to set off all these motions, like overpower this machine, and gets this huge arc reactor to eventually explode on him. So it explodes. I think he gets paralyzed, and then his suit falls into the reactor and just dies. So that's what happens, and then at the end of the film, there's like coverage. There's a media press conference I had to be on. He was given some cards by Agent Coulson, and that he has to read exactly. So then people don't know where he is. He gets to it. You can't read the cards because he's Tony Stark. He wants to do it his way. And eventually, he ends with, "I am Iron Man," which amazing line. Ends there. Obviously, end credit sequence starts. The whole Avengers thing, but don't need to go into that. It's an end credit sequence. But in terms of a film, I definitely think it's up there. Considering it started the MCU to what Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame are, the fact that this started it all off was a massive great start. Reviews, you can get an 8. It'll get an 8 out of 10 stars. From me, it's an incredible film, and I obviously love Iron Man. He's probably up there with one of my favourite heroes of all time. But yeah, I think I'm going to call that first review there. Hopefully that was a success. Hopefully you're looking forward to, or from let me know which one. I already have which ones I'm going to cover, but let me know which one you'd be excited for to be covered, and then maybe it'll be covered. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing Wonder Woman or Joker because I have covered those before. But yeah. Alright, until next time, bye.